Welcome to SoulWhat, a Soultopia production. Every Tuesday, Michelle and Roger Welch take a deep dive into the intriguing and proactive world of metaphysics, a world beyond our human perception. They'll talk to empaths, readers, and other guests from all walks of life to find out what's hiding under the surface, uncover the mysteries of our modern world, and reveal the answers you need to live a happy, healthier life. Now, here's your hosts, Michelle and Roger Welch.
Everybody, what's going on tonight? Glad to see y'all, hear from y'all, and get out of the rain. Looks like it finally started to slack up. In case you're not here in Dallas, we had a huge storm moving through, and I think we're under tornado watches till like 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. Does that sound right, Matt?
I think that's right. I can look that up. But yeah, I was sitting in here getting set up, and I just heard the rain pounding down. I parked under a tree, so hopefully there's no hail or anything like that. I might be protected. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just kind of crazy. It was just for the last, I guess the last week, it has been extremely windy all week.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, no, not a whole lot of rain to speak of, but yeah, it's like just some days have just been super, super windy.
And I'm okay with the rain if we can get even a day or two of rain to knock this pollen out, because like this morning, both the car and the truck was totally green from all the pollen. I had to spray it off before we left.
Yeah.
And it was insane. So actually, it'd be nice to have a little bit of rain just to knock that out. And in case y'all haven't noticed, Michelle's not here tonight. She's writing, finishing up. She's got 2 projects due. One due the end of May. Yeah, one due end of May. One due the end of midsummer is the other one due. But here we'll actually substitute her with the alien skull head and the. Every time we think Michelle's going to.
Yeah.
When she gets mad at me and Matt. Yeah, for making fun of her or something.
And yes, we are under a tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight, but it looks like, judging by the radar, that most of the storm has passed us already. So.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier, and which I text my cousin. She lives north of Frisco, actually, there a little bit. And she was said all they got there was rain. That was it. But I ran through a racetrack, grabbed my drink, and it was barely raining when it went in. When I came out, it was pouring, and it was swirling in around the gas pumps. Yeah. So it was crazy. But tonight, we thought we would talk about malas. So we do sell malas here at the store. And Michelle and I, we started making malas about, I looked back the other day. It's been right at 11 years, 10 years, 11 years. About 11 years we've been making them. Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe even a little bit longer, but I know 11 years. So, and we started making the bracelets and the malas and things like that was to give us an outlet for kind of like a meditative state. And if you look at that, that's what, kind of what malas are known for, is for use for meditation, for using to say mantras and things like that. And I'll go over kind of some of that tonight with you guys. But we kind of, it would go in spurts a little bit because we get busy on something else like Tide coming up, and we needed something to kind of help with some of the stress. So we kind of been kicking around doing some malas. We set up, in the bedroom, down the living room. We throw them together. Typically it takes us roughly about one of these large ones here, like these large ones right here. This is 108. So this is 108, guys. 108 beads is what it is, plus your marker beads, guru beads, things like that, right? These normally take almost 2 hours between the two of us to make them. So it's not too crazy, as far as a project for us. I say 2 hours, really about an hour and a half if everything goes smooth. Some of the smaller ones take, like the 54 beads, take us about an hour. So it's not, it's not bad at all. It gives us kind of an outlet to kind of de-stress, calm down.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you guys come into the store or shop in the store, just so you know, we do carry these little malas here. These is a 6mm bead mala. These guys have 108. They're like, this one here actually has tiger's eye and the basalt, the lava stone, and just has a tassel with just a 6mm guru bead even. These we do not make, okay? These actually come from Nepal. A friend of ours from Nepal. We get them from him. So we do carry these in the store. But the thing is, on these, we might have like 2 dozen or 3 dozen of the same one because they make these, over and over. And they are handmade. They're knotted between each one of the beads, and they are handmade. Now, the ones that Michelle and I make, we may make a couple that are very similar or look similar, but we try to make them look very different with different guru beads even, or even like the guru beads being a stone and whatnot there, right? But what I thought, since Michelle wasn't here tonight, we were going to have Andrea on. She'll be here not next week, but the following week. She's coming back on. But we thought, so since we have been busy doing these couple of malas over the last couple of weeks, we thought we would come and share them and show y'all and talk a little bit about malas. Because I do get a lot of questions a lot of times. People say, hey, what's a mala?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing. I don't know much about them. And obviously, like I would assume, much like your bracelets, you get the benefit from whatever stone or bead is on there. I assume there's some benefit there. But the most obvious reference point that I would have for something like this would be like rosary beads, which I assume they're probably similar in purpose, maybe, or at least somewhat.
And that's exactly right. A mala actually predates rosary beads. Okay, give you an idea. And of course, rosary beads, people use them for, to say their prayers, right?
Right. They hold them, they count them. I mean, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know they count them and or go through them as they say their prayers. So it seems like some overlap there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a little history on a mala then. Malas have been around since 8,000 BCE.
Wow.
Okay. So that puts malas out there over 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Is how long. And actually the word mala is Sanskrit for the garland. Okay. So it's a decoration, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And traditionally, which like I said, this one is a traditional, these here that 108. 108 is actually what is a traditional made mala. Okay. Now we do some modifications of them also, a 54, and even sometimes occasionally, not that often, but we do some with 27. Okay. So, but traditionally it's 108.
And those are all multiples of each other. I'm 108, 54, 27. Those are all
exactly
like doubles or halves or however you want to count it.
Exactly. Exactly right. And that's what it is. So, and the nice thing about these is not just the history in the, but it's in a lot of different religions, okay, which started in Hinduism, Buddhism, and on across, right? People use these, the mala beads. They use them for saying their prayers. They use them for meditating, help with, just like I said, like de-stressing. Okay, so there's a lot of points with how you use it. Now, we make them very traditionally. I've seen a couple of different ways people make them. Give you an idea, on ours, we put the beads on and we actually knot between each one of the beads. Now, traditionally, when you put the knot between each one of the beads, that's kind of the pausing point. Okay, so let's say you're using your mala for let's say helping you calm down, relax, okay? Is a good spot. You could either breathe in on your bead and exhale and hold on the knot, and go through there.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you're doing 108 beads, obviously that's quite a few in and out, breathing in and out, right? And that might be why you go to like a 54. But also, if you'll notice on some like this one, we have some what's called marker beads. And on the marker, these are Japa, J-A-P-A, designs, okay? And what we have is we have 7 beads first. We have your, marker bead. And we have 14 beads and a marker bead. Okay, same thing when you come around to the end. And on the top part here, we have is 66 beads. Okay, so the 66 beads is kind of where you working your way through. You go 7, you got your marker bead to know you've made it through 7. You go through your 14, you got your marker bead, you're going through 14. Then you get into the deep part of it. Okay, kind of like when you guys, you're doing yoga and in that meditative state of yoga or
Yeah.
even meditating. This is kind of in that meditative state. And then there's your cool down side over here where you come back around your marker bead again. You can tell because it's a little bit larger and sometimes even a different texture than the beads you're working with. You got your marker bead again, and then you have your other 7 beads there, right? So that's kind of where those marker beads come in. Now, they technically have if you have your marker beads, obviously you have a few more than 108, but you also have your guru bead, which is representative of your teacher.
And that's the one at the bottom.
That will be the one at the bottom, yes.
Or I guess the bottom. That
Correct.
Seems like the bottom.
And we don't always use beads for those. This is actually this one on this is actually not even crystal on the beads here. This is those what they call it, gaslight glass beads.
Glass, yeah.
Yeah, they're glass, but they're the gas lamp beads.
Uh-huh.
They have the different colors, textures, flowers, different stripes, color, everything. Just really fun color, right? And then the guru bead on this one is actually magnesite or howlite, and it actually has the Buddha face on it. Whereas, say this one over here, this one has got a is actually a strophalite. Yeah, this is a strophalite, and you'll notice these two actually have aquamarine on. So this has a very large aquamarine bead with your crystal quartz, your Druzy agates, and your crackle quartz around it. So we'd like to make them look nice, but also functional.
Yeah.
But like I said, these even predate rosaries. They're great for using for meditations, if you're doing yoga, even if you're just saying prayers, because it allows you to kind of work through it. If you're trying to relax, it helps you with that. Affirmations. You know what affirmations are? I feel good today.
Yeah.
Type stuff, right?
It's like Stuart Smalley. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
Exactly.
People like me.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Michelle made me some quick notes on here, but one thing that she said I thought was actually really cool was that the affirmation type. Here it is. Positive affirmations was developed in the 1970s by neuroscientists using psychotherapy and logistics to consciously change thought patterns towards more desired outcomes.
Okay.
Okay? So you got to think about it. What you're doing is you're getting your mindset into the mindset that you're looking for.
Right.
Like you said, I feel good today. I feel positive today. Well, you know what? If you took every morning and you started it with a mala and you went through 108 times saying that, you probably got it in your head. Your positive outlook of life has totally changed now.
Yeah.
Or your outlook has changed to a more positive look. Even if you're using one of the ones that's 54, the half of the 108, right? Mm-hmm. You could also have that, in there too, where you're, saying it. And if you feel like you need to do 108, you just go through the loop twice.
Is there a significance to 108? Or is that just what they were traditionally?
That was how they were traditionally made.
Okay.
It was with the 108, exactly. Now, the word mantra, because that's kind of where the other part of this, right, is the mantra. That's another Sanskrit word, which means instrument or tool of the mind. Okay? So when you're thinking about that, you're working with it. Think about it. Your mantras are tools of the mind. It's how we train ourselves, too, and how we work with ourselves. And so that's always a great way of doing it and putting it all together. Let's see here. Thousands of years. Cheating, guys. I'm looking at my notes again. Because when I get on here and I don't have Michelle, I end up talking way faster than I thought I was.
Yeah.
So give you guys an idea. Michelle and I, we do make these. And if you decide you wanted a custom one, I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But when we make these, we literally, we sit there and we set a very positive intentions behind making each one of the malas that we make. We do a lot of customs for people that will want certain beads or a certain look. And we've done this for years, like I said. How we do it, though, Michelle sits on my left side. I sit on the right side. And Michelle beads the bead itself on the string. Now, the string that we use on all of our malas is a silk cording, is what it is. Okay? It's what they call a number 7 silk cord. So it's very strong, being that it's silk. And Michelle beads it on, and then I take the bead, and it's actually almost like a reverse knot. You have to put it on and put the knot in there between each one of the beads. And then pull the next bead down on top of the knot and make it tight. You may have a little bit of space between some, but it's very, very little because we like for it to fit very tight. And as over time of wearing it, you're going to have a, kind of pull, stretch, maybe a little bit, not much because it being silk, you don't get a lot of stretch out of it. So it's a very strong, strong finish out on it for sure.
Yeah.
So we end up, I have had one time where I miscounted the beads and I don't know what I did. I totally miscounted the beads, and we do count the beads over and over to make sure. Because when you're getting these and when you are using them for your mantra, we want to make sure you have the 7, the 14, the 66. Or if you're not putting the marker beads in, make sure you have 108.
Yeah.
We totally double check them all the time to make sure you have the correct beads, number of beads in each one of them. Now, if you noticed on this one, though, this has 3 hematite beads on the back. And this one is actually in the very back where it would rest directly on your neck. These beads here are in this position because it hits the base of your neck for grounding.
So you are supposed to wear these too. I wasn't sure if you just carried them or like you can wear them as a necklace of sorts.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some people, these got really popular again about, I'd say 6 years ago, because people were wearing them as with the tassels and really the cool thing to wear. And it wasn't as much as using them for meditating or using it for, the intention side of it, but it's really about, I look nice, it looks great, it makes me feel good type things, right? But in a way, it's kind of still, you're using it because you're setting your intentions with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do, that's also why we like to make them. If you notice, we have a wide variety of these, of different looks, different designs, different materials even. For example, this one is wood. We have one with sandalwood, this sandalwood. We have the dark and the light sandalwood. We also have the Rutska seeds actually. That's the kind of textured looking seeds.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, so this is what you would normally see as a traditional look. And then on this one, I've got 7 of the seeds coming up, and then I've got the turquoise. This is a matte finish turquoise there. And we used a piece of clear quartz for the guru bead. So
I like that.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit different, gives it a little bit different texture to it and everything like that. Now, what most people want to know is how do I work with it, right?
Yeah.
So give you an idea, you're going to rest the beads on your ring finger, okay? And you're going to start with the bead to the right of the guru bead, okay? And you're going to rest that bead with your thumb directly onto your ring finger, and then you use your thumb to advance it. So after you start, you say your mantra, it's going to be a beautiful day today, and you advance it, you have your knot, and you pause for a second to allow yourself to reflect on what you just said. You move it to the next bead. It's going to be a beautiful day today. You move, advance, and you pause again.
Yeah.
And that's how you would do it and work all the way through your 108 while you breathe. And once you get back to your guru bead, like I said, you would do it one last time, accepting everything. Remember what I said, guru beads, that's your teacher bead. Okay? That's where you've learned to accept everything that's working through it. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that is cool. And so do you normally, if you're doing this, do you normally just go through it one time if you have or however many times you need? Like, what is it?
Typically one time.
Yeah.
Also, it depends on what you're doing. If you were using it for trying to, say, calm down, you might not need to go all the way through the whole 108. Mm-hmm. You might go through, especially if the one you're working with has the marker beads. You might know that once you hit through the first 7 and breathing and you go through the next 14, you're at that marker bead. you know you're in actually a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
You know, that gives you an idea, you know, of where you're at and how you're working through it. We used to do a few, and we still could do them even on a stretch cord, but you can't really put the knots on the ones with the stretch cords because it doesn't allow it to really stretch very well. It will stretch a little bit, just not a lot. And we did a few of those with 27 beads, which is the half of 54. Obviously, if you do one with 27 on the silk, you can't get it over your head to actually fit. So you kind of lose your way on that.
Yeah.
But remember, let's see, was it 5-6 years ago when the snowstorm hit and everybody was iced in for like an entire week? Not the one last year, the one before. It was like 6 years ago probably.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when that was, but yeah.
So actually, I came up with a different design, kind of a little bit of a modified mala. And if you notice, it still has the tassel. You have your guru bead. And on this one, I did this one a couple of nights ago. This one has 7 beads up. And these, I have amethyst as my guru bead. I've got 7 on each side of the guru bead that are druzy agates, purple druzy agates. And then I've got 7, this is Veracruz amethyst. So you have 7 and 7, okay, on each side. And then on the back part where it goes around your neck is actually leather cording. And so with this one, you tie it in the back behind your neck, and you can either wear it down lower or tie it up a little shorter, depending on how you want to wear it.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a lot lighter weight. It's not like heavy or anything like that. Some people like that, especially if you're using it for like quick, you know, calming down or quick meditations. You got 7 and 7 beads, so you've got 14 beads on each side. We can also make these with maybe like a marker bead between the 7. I didn't on this one, but I can, and I have done them that way. So it still gives you those marker beads to actually know where you're at.
And that's easy just to carry with you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you guys are watching and you're looking at these, you're probably looking and like, oh man, look how long the tassels are.
They are pretty long.
Okay. I make them long because actually I think they look really cool long. They show very well when they're long. If you guys get one of these and you're like, it's just too long, take scissors and snip, snip. You cut them whatever length you actually want them. When I make the tassels, it's really just, I put them together and I try to leave them long. Because we have quite a few people that like the longer length. And some people like the shorter length. It's just a matter of getting good sharp scissors and just cut it to what length you like.
Yeah, it's easy to trim, but you can't make it longer once it's cut. So yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. The let's see. Oh, sorry about that. But we do like to make them. We try to do some where, like I said, we make them to sell here in the store. But we also like people to, you know, pick their own beads and everything and have an intention behind their own crystals that they're actually putting with it.
So, I mean, is this something that, like, I mean, obviously it takes, you got to know how to do it, but is this something that you would recommend people maybe even trying to make one of their own? Like, do you get as much out of that as holding it and going through it?
I think you do, just because it's it does take a little bit of time. Okay, we make them pretty fast because we've been making them for a while.
Yeah.
I would tell somebody that's making their own is just don't get frustrated with it and just work through it and just keep going with it. The worst case scenario, you screw up, you have to cut the beads loose between the knots, which is the pain in the butt because I have done that before myself. But it's just redoing it.
Yeah.
Okay, and just don't get frustrated with it. Okay, it's one of those things, you're working with it, you're kind of working on your own energy with it, and so just don't get frustrated with it. Now, for me, what was I going with that? I had classes before, okay?
On how to make them?
On how to make them.
Oh,
and
okay.
we actually, if I had enough people that was interested in it, we would actually do another class. Believe the class we did before, and I would be interested in doing again, would be like one of the 54s, because I teach about the malas in the class, And then we also make a mala that's yours. I mean, it's like part of the class. You come, you make it, you leave, you got a mala. That is yours. So you're actually leaving class. And I will say, the last time we did a class, it was before COVID, obviously, and then COVID hit and everybody stopped doing classes. But what we did, we actually made a malas. Everybody made them. And it was actually turned out really nice. Were they 100% perfect? No, but the thing is, you left with something that you made, that you figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
And people felt good about it.
Yeah. That's a cool thing. Like getting able to walk away with something that you put that effort into and stuff, and it's more meaningful that way.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the type of classes I like anyway, are the ones where you're kind of learning something. You're learning a little bit of the history, because we do talk about the history, kind of like we're doing today. But you're also learning how to do this yourself, because what happens, you might, which I did have a couple of people in the class, and they've made their own since then. But I also had a couple more that were like, oh, this is a lot of work. I'd rather pay you to do it for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is fine with me. I don't mind either way.
Yeah.
And so we do like to make them very unique, but I like to teach other people how to do it also. And so I don't mind, sharing how we do these. And if you guys have any questions out there at all, throw it on there. I'm watching on one side, Matt's watching on the other side.
Yep.
But let's see here. Biggest thing about them, like I said, is using them for your mantras, which is, like I said, a tool for the mind. That's Sanskrit. And the word mantra is instrument or tool of the mind. And is commonly used in Hinduism and Buddhism for thousands of years. Mantras are words, sacred sounds, prayers, or phrases used in meditation. So these mantras are actually kind of what rewires your brain, your mind, right? Mm-hmm. Into maybe the direction you want to go. So if you wanted to be, more calm, more calm with your kids, more calm with your spouse, more calm with coworkers, maybe you're doing a mantra, calming your energy down.
Yeah.
Something like that. You also can use these for affirmations, right? Affirmations are those positive statements. So, I feel good today. Today's going to be an awesome day. Instead of looking at everything as the glass half full or half empty, you're looking at it half full, right?
Yeah.
Those types of things, guys. So these are actually very good ways to, look at it. We talked about how to hold it. Like I said, you want to start at the guru bead. You want to hold that first bead to the right against your ring finger with your thumb. And you work it, and you just move it with one hand. You pause it at the knot, and you work it to the second bead. Pause at the knot. So we covered that for you guys. Now, when we do look at the beads, a lot of times we looking at them how things go together. We want to make sure that the flow is good. We want to make sure the energy of the crystal behind it is a good vibe to it. And it is something that people are looking for, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if it's something that you're wanting to look for, you might be looking for something, let's say, for protection, okay? Which to me is kind of like this one that I brought in first, which is the little 6 millimeter beads. This one would be a little bit more like a grounding and protecting, because you have the tiger's eye, which is a protecting stone, and you had the black basalt. Black stones are usually like grounding and protecting stones. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for something that was maybe a little bit more grounding and protecting, maybe we would look at crystals or stones for your mala that would actually have crystals that represented that. And then maybe throw a little flash of something else in there. The hardest part, believe it or not, is actually the guru bead.
That's what I was curious about. Talking about making them, I'm like, I don't even know where you start and how you get some of this stuff together. So how does that work?
Well, the guru bead is the hardest part, and just because the silk cording that we use, you basically have to double it going through the hole. Some of the crystal beads and things, those holes are only a 1 millimeter hole to begin with.
Oh, wow.
And the string you're using, the silk cording, is actually a 1 millimeter cording, which is also makes it a little bit difficult going through some of the beads, right? So what we do is you have to cut plenty of silk cording too, guys. To give you an idea, it's probably about, I would say 8 to 10 feet. I don't, because I don't want to get down and have, some, not have enough. So I usually start out with about 8 to 10 feet of silk cording, but you have to take a lighter and actually melt the end of the silk cording and pull it out just a little bit to give it kind of a point like a needle.
Oh, yeah, you're like sharpening it some.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it kind of stiffens the silk cording up a little bit, so it glides through the hole a little easier when you're going through each one of them.
Okay.
It's almost like it gets to like a sweet spot to be able to kind of where it works very well like a needle. And that honestly takes the biggest time. If you get it just right, perfect, very first time, it works throughout. But then it's like when you don't, it takes 10 minutes to get it set up, just to get that part set up.
So where do you start when you're making it? Like, what's the first thing that you do?
So what I do is I start here. I don't start on the guru bead. The guru bead is the very last thing I put on as far as the beads go. What I do is I start with the very first bead, and that's where I go from there around to the 108, or at least the 7 to the marker bead, the 14 to the marker bead, and then on around, right? So I go bead all of the beads on, and then I tie the knots between each one of the beads. And like I said, that's almost like a backwards left-handed knot. So it's a very strange feeling of tying a knot into a string, okay? It's the complete reverse of what you think. How we would all, as a kid, tied our shoes and tied a knot. It's actually the complete reverse of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a very, once you kind of get it down and you're doing, actually tying the knots between the beads, you're almost get into a very meditative state as it is.
Yeah, that's like the only thing you're focused on is tying that knot.
And so when Michelle's feeding the beads on, and I'm tying that, like I said, backwards left-handed knot, it's like that's what I'm into. Bam, bam.
Yeah.
And your brain just goes into auto drive, and you're in that meditative state just instantly by doing it. And a lot of times when we sit down, we'll knock 2 or 3 of these out in a night because we're just sitting there and it's like a machine. We're just going.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you look, you've got them all done. But like I said, the hardest part is actually the guru beads. Now, sometimes we'll have like these metal beads. These are actually from the Turkish places we get the Turkish jewelry and stuff from. So they have some just beads like this, or like this little silver bead, the gold bead there, the silver bead here. Now, the holes on those are larger. So what you have to do is take the 2 ends of the silk, and you basically melt those 2 pieces together, and then glide that through the hole. Now, these pieces of adventure or aquamarine, it's actually pretty difficult because what happens on those a lot of times, those stone beads or crystal beads, is they'll drill a hole one way and through the other way. Well, when it gets through the middle, it might not totally match up. It might have like a little bit of an offset in the center. So to get that bead or the silk cording to go through there, it can be really difficult sometimes. And it's hard to actually feed something up in there to pull through like a needle. Yeah. Because you don't have that much space in there. So it does get a little bit difficult. I've even in the past had to take my little Dremel tool and carve out the inside of some of the crystals that I knew I was going to use. Now I actually look for a lot of crystals, and I look for the size holes that are there, and I look for things like this one. This is actually this is a 54 mala, right, with the sandalwood. This has the glass, evil eye beads, and then for the guru bead, this is a labradorite, and I'm sure you can't see the really great flash on it, but it does have a really cool flash of blue. But when I got these the other day, I looked. They have large holes going through them.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm like, this will be easy to go with. So you have that large hole in there. Those makes life so much easier than little ones. Same thing for these amethyst guru beads I have here. These amethyst guru beads, they actually have that large hole in there. And those made life so easy putting those on. But then once we get this silk cording through the guru bead, now it's the time to attach make and attach the actual tassel itself. Embroidery string works really great for the tassels. You can buy those that are, how like they're like, I don't know, 6-7 inches, kind of already spun together.
Yeah.
They're like $2, $3, $4 for those. Typically, I'll take 2 or 3 of those and put together and then tie the silk cording up underneath the knot and then hide the knot that's holding it all together right under the tassel. And then because I do metal, use a metal wire for the wire wrapping, I use the same wire to actually make a little band around the tassel to hold it together. And then I just clip it all smooth down at the bottom and try to keep it as even as possible.
Yeah, so these are all really, I mean, every part of it is handmade in a way, right? I mean, I guess you're not drilling out the beads, but but it's not a pre-made tassel. It's not any of that stuff. Yeah.
Nope, no pre-made tassels, nothing like that. We totally 100% make it all the way through by hand with no problem.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, one thing that Michelle did give me that wanted me to talk about with you guys was actually about mantras and affirmations. One thing is, I'm going to talk about this pretty fast though. She does have a video, and we'll look it up for you guys, but some of you may actually know where this is. But she has a video that goes through a chakra meditation. Okay, so you could use that video to actually work through these, through these. So let's say you think about it. Is this on
her YouTube channel?
It is. It's on her YouTube channel. And I think it's on her website too. I think a link got posted onto michellewelch.com. I think. If not, we'll get one over there. I know she's got some meditations on there. But if you think about it, one of the things we talked about was we're talking about the chakras, right? And we have 7. And we're talking about some of the malas have 7 beads on them right as you start with. Okay? So it's a really cool meditation to be able to hold these and work through those 7 with your 7 chakra, with your meditation. With your first chakra being your root chakra, right? And that mantra for that is LAM, okay? LAM. I'm not a singer, right? I just like to play like it, unless it's, some heavy metal stuff. Which your affirmation for that first chakra is, I am safe and secure. I'm healthy and strong. Life is good. Okay. So you could even use just that to go through your whole chakra for your mantras. But it's really cool to be able to go through that on that first bead. You hit that your knot before you hit the second bead. You hit that knot, and you're just soaking in that energy of what you just said. Now you're moving into your second bead, which is also your second chakra, which is about passion, right? And that mantra for that is VAM, V-A-M. Okay. I enjoy my life fully. I am passionate and creative, and I am in control of my own sexuality. You move into the knot for that pause and reflecting on what you just said. Move into the third bead, third chakra, is about purpose, right? Personal power. And it's RAM, is R-A-M, but it's RAM. Okay. Your affirmation here is, there are no failures. I learn from everything I do. I am confident and powerful. I release judgment. We move into the knot, where we actually are reflecting on that. And then move into our fourth chakra, which, guys, is a heart chakra, remember. Fourth chakra is about compassion, love. And that one's YAM, kind of spelled like yam, Y-A-M, but YAM. Okay. And your affirmation there is, I truly love and approve of myself. I forgive myself and let go. I am grateful. You move into that knot where you're pausing and reflecting. Move into your fifth chakra. And this is your throat chakra, right? Expression of things. And it's like ham, H-A-M, but it's hum. Okay? It is safe to express my feelings. I am heard. I communicate with clarity and positivity. You move into that knot and you're pausing. And basically, guys, that pause in there is like a 3-second pause. It's not like you pause there forever. It's like a 3-second pause. And you're reflecting. You move into that sixth chakra, which is our third eye, right? Is our insight. That's Om. And I know you guys know that one because that's kind of like the meditation of Om.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, people know that one.
Yeah. So I trust my intuition. I am open to new ideas, people, and situations. I see and understand the big picture. We move into the not, and we're pausing and reflecting. And then we're moving into the seventh chakra, which is connection. That's the one in our crown, right, guys? And it's also Okay, so same mantra, And this is, I am peace and harmony. I am connected, protected, and supported by the universe. I know my purpose. So that's a really cool, easy 7 chakra using your mala beads, just the first 7 beads with the knots to be able to kind of work through that. And if you do that daily, it starts connecting your chakras, and especially people that come in and they're looking for like a chakra balance healing type thing. This is a really good way to work with that healing to actually keep your chakras in order and to keep them, kind of working properly, keeping you balanced and balanced with everything there.
Yeah, and that's an easy one that people can do.
It is. And if you go to the one where Michelle has recorded, you can always listen to that and kind of repeat it to yourself as you're working through it. And even with the sounds, the and hum.
Yeah, I was just looking for it on her on the YouTube page, but I'm not sure if it was the right one, and I don't want to put it up there, and I don't want her to be mad at me. So.
Yeah, we'll have her find it, and we'll actually get it posted out there for
Try
everybody.
to link that somewhere.
And I thought it was actually on her. If it's not on her, the MichelleWelch.com page, we'll actually get it on there too, guys. So. Let's see. I think we got. So she had this quote. She found this quote that she was reading that she really liked. She wanted to be here tonight, but so she did all the work for us, Matt.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So this quote on words we speak. All right, and oh my God, Paramahansa Yogananda. I'm pretty sure I nailed that one. That's the name of the guy, right?
Yeah.
Paramahansa Yogananda. Words saturated with sincerity, conviction, faith, and intuition are like highly explosive vibration bombs, which when set off, shatter the rocks of difficulties and create the change desired. Yeah. So basically what that tells us, guys, is our own words to our own selves will clear any of those blockages that we don't like or we want to move through. And so it's very important of having that self-talk to ourselves, right? We're talking to ourselves. We're telling ourselves to get out of our own minds and to work our own ways through everything. So that's a big thing for us to do every day. Now, I'm about out of everything.
Well,
I told her it'd be pretty quick, guys. So we're going to keep tonight's show kind of short and sweet because we know you guys have stuff to do. But I do want to kind of remind you guys, on the May 20th, we have Tide. Matt speaking. We got a bunch of people speaking, right? Yep. We've had a few of the guests on the show who are speaking in the past, and we've actually got the next 2 guests who are going to be on the Tide. Next week, we have Matt Arwen from the Psychic Witch.
Yep.
And we have Andrea Frotrick from the Afro Goddess the following week.
Yeah, looking forward to those shows.
Exactly. And if you guys are still been paying attention, we have that code going out that's actually called Tide. Let's see. No, it's 2022. When you go to check out for ordering your tickets, you get 10% off of your tickets. Okay? So use that code 2022 and you get 10% off on your tickets that you're ordering. So it makes it kind of nice.
Yeah.
If you are coming, you also could stay at the hotel. I mean, why not? I mean, you're going to be there and get to hang out. Because I'm going to tell you now, the way it works, all these people are coming in town to actually speak. Well, they hang out at the hotel after hours. So it'd be a great opportunity to have a drink with somebody and get to meet them and get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Find them down at the bar or something like that.
I've made lifelong friends just by doing that. Before ever the stores or anything. We were just hanging out, talking to people, and I've made lifelong friends out of those people just because of just enjoying time with them.
You never know who you'll run into.
That's right. And so it's a good time. I mean, the hotel rooms for Dallas, it's $119 a night. Even if you stay 1 or 2 nights, it's not that much. Plus, we have the disco and things like that. But if you are coming, there's also on the website, which is the International Divination Event. Okay, there's the tab for the hotel and food. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see we actually got a deal on all the food. So for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you'll see those prices have been cut quite a bit. So, especially if you come and you're there, might as well have lunch with everybody too.
Yeah.
And that's not like just a lunch out with everybody. That's actually lunch where where everybody's eating. Is kind of just our group eating together, because the restaurant stuff right now is not open. It's open for breakfast, but not for lunch and dinner. Mm-hmm. So we'll all be eating lunch and dinner together, basically. But you'll see the little packages that you can buy, the packages for that. And like I said, next week we have Matt on. He's going to be talking about his book, Psychic Witch, his upcoming book, and Tide, and then Andrea Frutrick. And then we have a few more surprises coming up also.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
Yeah, so we're all excited. Oh, Callie's watching. She said come have a drink with her.
Absolutely.
Callie, I think we'll have more than one if that's okay. You're coming to Texas. We don't drink one.
Yep. Can't have just one.
Yep. We get all excited. We have quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
We start early too.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I think we'll call it for the evening, and we will see y'all next week. Y'all have a good week. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to SoulWhat, a Soultopia production. If you're intrigued, searching, or looking to schedule a reading of your very own, visit us in sunny Dallas, Texas, or visit us online at facebook.com/Soultopia Holistic Boutique. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform to be the first to hear new episodes every Tuesday at 7:30 Central.